Hello and welcome in to Smoking Hot Takes. The Buffalo Bills were so close to finally spearheading the Chiefs, but unfortunately their throw was just wide right. The Packers might have shown us a chink in the 49ers' golden armor, and the Lions swallowed the cannonballs, the Bucs shot at them, and then proceeded to eat them. Stay tuned for our NFC, AFC championship picks, a fun new middle segment, and our greatest Smoking Hot Takes to date. Let's get smoking. Smoking. Welcome in everybody to Smoking Hot Takes. And I'm here with Koop and KDawg. And you guys are supposed to say something back. Usually, not just leave me hanging. Did we lose Koop already?
Hello?
Hello, Koop.
Hello? Can't hear me.
We can hear you now.
Now we can hear you.
What? Now you can hear me? Alright. Heyo!
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sorry to you people out there. Koop was
We'll touch it up in the post.
in the post-op. Sure, we can do that. Fellas, how we doing?
Good, man.
One day late on the pod because KDawg was out gambling, making money, using C-Dub's locks.
Yes,
Came back with millions.
I was out in the land of Ohio, where you can do that. Yes. Unfortunately, I came back with a little bit of a cold too. So, but the bets came out pretty even. So, and with that free money from FanDuel, you can't complain.
Yeah, not a sponsor. We will accept sponsors. Yeah, man. What was your best? What was your best hit? What was your best play of the week? Of the weekend?
The one that I'm most proud of, although I think I only put like 10 on it, was I had Rachaad White scoring his first touchdown as a reception.
Oh,
it's like plus 900 or something. I was proud of that one. But I don't know, just random stuff. I think I just had like something in my mind of like a highlight of when he scored a receiving touchdown like during the regular season. I was like, yeah, he could do it again. Baker's checking it down. It seemed to make sense.
Yeah,
and it did. Yeah,
I know you hit that Kittle one too, right?
Yeah, Kittle first tutty, right?
Touchdown. Yeah, nice. Got that one. At Chiefs money line too, so that was good.
All right.
We don't need to hear about that. Gross. So you were just pumped. You were like, you were barking when you saw that kick go just a little right. I think, man, that ball just got caught up in the wind and just took off on it.
Yeah, it's gotta be so painful for Bills fans. I mean, they're famous for back. I think their first Super Bowl that they lost when a kick went wide right in the final seconds, and so it's just kind of a mirror of that. So you got to feel bad for Bills fans. They wanted that game so bad.
I saw some crying in the stands. Honestly, I felt bad for them.
Yeah.
I was crying.
This is their time, Like, I think these last 5 years were their time. And things are
they must hate the Chiefs so much. I mean, it's got to be one of the best rivalries in the league right now. I think. So they're 0-4 against Mahomes in the playoffs. Is that right, or is it 0-3? Something like that, which is crazy. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into that more later, but
I was gonna say, preceding a Bills win, beating the Bills in the playoffs, have lost.
I did see it. Yeah,
every time.
Saying,
yeah, well, the last few matchups, yeah.
Like every time they've beaten the Bills, they proceed to lose in the playoffs, or either the next game or the championship, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I saw something. Yeah, not just. Are you talking about just the Chiefs? Because I saw something where, in like the past 5 years, every team to beat the Bills in the playoffs loses the following game.
Oh, really? I only saw the Chiefs one, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. We'll get into it. Also, did you guys see the news today that Jim Harbaugh hired to the Chargers as their head coach?
Right. That's right. They didn't. They didn't want to let Kellen Moore shock the league just yet. They had to have somebody come in and take that job. Just the world wasn't ready for this, but that's okay.
We're gonna see Kellen Moore rocking some khakis alongside Jim Harbaugh here soon. He's gonna be looking cute in those things.
Yeah, I am pretty interested to see how this goes. The Chargers. It's gonna be interesting. I feel like they were just kind of missing. And healthy players.
I think it's a huge upgrade. I mean, say what you want about. I don't know that any of us are big fans personally of Jim Harbaugh, but he is a great
No.
coach.
Yeah.
And I mean, what he did for the 49ers when he's in the NFL, he was great. And so I expect big things with the Chargers now. I think they have all these pieces. It's kind of what they're missing is just a good coach. I think he's a huge upgrade from Brandon Staley. I was telling Coop before this, I actually read that I think it was the Bears that wanted to interview Kellen Moore for a position, and the Chargers actually blocked him from interviewing.
Really?
So they want him. So his job is secure. Surprised me, of course. I'm sure Coop was
No,
expecting something like that, but
never surprised.
yeah, Chargers. I also saw the Chargers. You know, they haven't won that division since 2009,
Wow.
Oh,
which is
barf.
insane. I would, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's all good. I think it's great for them.
Yep.
It'll be interesting though. Yeah.
Yep. Next big hiring is going to be Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's really
And
interesting.
I keep hearing like, I mean, if you guys are on Reddit, you're seeing the same stuff as I am, where it's just like, oh, these people are getting closer and closer in talks, and then for Bill Belichick, it's like, oh, they're getting further away. It's like I don't.
Yeah, the
for Atlanta
momentum
Falcons.
slowing down. Yeah, and the Titans just hired a coach today too, and it was I think his last name McCallahan, which
He was the OC for the Bengals.
Oh yeah, like
I-
is it Brian Callahan?
Something like
yeah,
that. I know he
Brian
has a
Callahan.
brother.
I think it's
Yeah.
his dad. I think his dad is Bill
Oh, his
Callahan or
dad?
something.
Oh,
I
okay.
think so. I could be wrong
Yeah.
though. I thought Brian was his son, but
The other Callahan's a coach on the.
okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like with Belichick, I would think any team that has the chance to hire Belichick, especially a team like the Falcons, like they'd be all over it. I feel like it's more so. And now I haven't read the rumors, granted, but I feel like it's more so like Belichick. He probably wants to take his time, make sure he finds the right place, because this is going to be
Yeah,
probably his last hurrah, right? I mean,
probably.
Oh,
so
100%.
so
Yeah.
you'd think he would want to take his time and make the best decision he can.
I also think him wanting probably hand if he's drafted. I mean, all these him draft Mac Jones.
Right.
I'm sure they
Yeah,
don't want that on the.
I know. Maybe that is kind of a point of contention because he might want that more than teams are willing to
Right.
give him.
Yeah.
Like, is
And
Arthur Blank gonna want to be like a code? I guess Blank's the owner, correct?
yes,
So
I
Yeah.
believe so.
I don't know if they have a GM.
Yeah, and Vrabel just actually interviewed the Falcons, just tweeted out a little while ago with the Falcons. So Mike Vrabel's definitely up in the air. And then you got guys like Mike McDonald or McDowell. Is it McDonald?
Pete Carroll's still out there.
Yeah.
McDonald.
Yes, there's still a lot of room, a lot of momentum for a lot of different teams getting coaches. I know. Yeah, I mean, still a lot up in the air. So, and a lot of coordinating jobs now because like Vic Fangio got fired, Joe Barry got fired. Like a lot of movement now. So it'll be fun to watch over the next few weeks to see where everybody lands. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to check out our Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Schmokenot Takes. You can also check out the X, which has been doing well with some memes and funny stuff. And check out the merch store. Got some good stuff on there too. And Coop's cooking up some fun designs. He was telling me about this idea he had where he's gonna have some lions attacking miners in a who are mining gold for our next graphic, right, Coop?
Yeah, that sounds so cool. I'm so glad I came up with that idea.
Yeah, you
it's
were
great.
you were really
That's
hyping
gonna
that
be
up.
that's gonna be a hidden, locked in the vault type of deal. Maybe you'll see it.
It's gonna be like an AI graphic that we create. All right, let's get into our Shogunat takes. Let's get into what people are, or a recap, what people are here for. So I'll go first. I called out that Amon-Ra was gonna have a 200-yard receiving game with a touchdown. He got the touchdown. Came a little short on the yards, though. We got about 77. I was expecting a little bit more of an offensive showdown. Granted, it was a pretty high-scoring game between the Bucks and the Lions, but I was hoping that we might see Amon-Ra get a little more involved than he did, even though I guess he already had 14 targets. But yeah, he came up short. So I missed. We'll call it a 50% hit because he got the tutty, right? We'll call it a 50% hit.
How many yards did he say he had?
77.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound
Oh,
like
close enough. Maybe we'll round up to 80% hit.
Yeah, sure, bud.
Okay.
Anything.
Yeah, right.
For you.
Okay, all right. What do you guys got? How'd you guys do?
I'll jump in here. So I was hoping for a historical low total spread, but each games, well, the sum of each. I was hoping for anything less than 24, a one score difference between each matchup. And the first game kind of destroyed that because the Ravens ended up beating the Texans by 20. And then after that, the games were actually relatively close. Got a game. Let's see, the Niners beat the Packers by 3. The Lions beat the Buccaneers by 8, and the Chiefs by 3. So I mean, those were all kind of one possession. So that total came out to 38. I was a bit off, and we're not hearing about this historical.
Yeah, that first half of the first game between the Ravens and Texans,
Yeah,
it was
dude, I was
10-10.
hyped.
That probably felt good. And then
Yeah, man.
you're setting off well, and then shit just went downhill from there.
Good.
Especially the fourth quarter. Oh man.
Yeah, I'll give you credit for that. I thought that. I mean, I was talking about last week. I thought like a lot of these games would be kind of blowouts, and only the Texans Ravens one was. So
Yep.
you were kind of on the right path with that.
And that was the call. So
Right.
Kind of fun to watch.
I was also hyped because that was looking good in our favor too.
It was.
I was out snowboarding
for a little bit,
and I pulled off to the side after getting my ass kicked by many different things on the mountain, and I was checking my phone. It's like, oh my gosh, it's 10-10. Pulled out my phone 2 hours later. It's like, they're down by like 14 points, and I'm like, and then they scored again, and I'm like, no, it's so close. So
yeah, that's one of those where, we should have seen it coming, and I guess that leads right into what I had last week. I had one in that game where I had C.J. Stroud throwing 3 touchdowns. I believe he had 0 in that game.
Close.
And then I also had a pick 6, which of course did not happen. He did not have that punt return. I think the punt return was the only touchdown for the Texans.
That's right.
So
it's Ravens D, man. Solid.
Yeah, that Ravens
it's so
D,
good.
It is. And like we talked about it before, well, going into the Browns game more so than this game, how the Texans they aren't quite there yet. They're young, inexperienced. Right. Should have probably seen this coming, but yeah, the Ravens. They just look great that this game. I guess we can get into this game if you guys want.
Let's just talk about it.
Sure.
So final outcome: 34 Ravens, Texans 10. That punt return though, that was pretty sweet, huh? That was a cool play.
Yeah,
I'd be stoked if the Texans, but like in all reality, like if you're the Texans, you gotta be stoked about how the season ended, right? Like there was probably no expectations that they would even make the playoffs, let alone win a playoff game. And then even to make it like halfway through a game against like probably what people would say is the Super Bowl favorite right now in the Ravens. Like that's gotta feel great. Like as a Texans fan, I would be so happy, especially after all the shit that you went through with Deshaun Watson, losing a head coach, having some sort of question marks maybe about CJ Stroud at the beginning of the season. And then here you are now, like with only optimism moving forward for next season. Like Texans fans are eating good. The city of Houston is eating good just in terms of sports. Like I would be thrilled if I were a Texans fan right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be feeling a little better than that other Texas team for sure. CJ Stroud is going to be a great player. Team is very young, and maybe they'll take that next step next year. We'll see. But meanwhile, the Ravens, they just were just as advertised, as dominated this game. Clearly look like the best team right now among the teams left. But they are playing Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City coming up, so it'll be a good one, no doubt.
Yeah, I think we can kind of, at least me, I'm gonna brand the Texans AFC. I think they're gonna be pretty dang good. You're gonna have all these players in their sophomore year. You're gonna have D'Amico Ryan as a second-year head coach, and then that whole division just kind of like, the Colts, granted, but like the Jaguars are kind of the Titans. So. We're gonna see these guys back, the Texans. But yeah, I think the story of this game was just kind of that Ravens taking advantage of, and kind of a running game that looked pretty good going into the playoffs. But I mean, when you have Devin Singletary, I don't think he only had 22 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So this defense is legit. I know I can't wait to hear what Prophet Jay says about Lamar here, but. This team is so complete on both sides with Lamar heading the offense, unstoppable, and that the matchup with the Chiefs is going to be, I think, pretty legendary. But I think we got to give Lamar props with being the best running back out there as well as the best quarterback. 16 for 22, 2 touchdowns to the air. He also had 2 touchdowns on the ground. MVP performance again. What do you have to say about that, Prophet?
So here's just a side note. While you were talking, I was looking through the plays that the Ravens were running, the offensive plays. It's really interesting to me because, like, from my quick math that I did for the first half only, it looks like Lamar only threw the ball 5 times, which I just find, like, I'm not saying like that's not me saying he's just a running back. That's me more saying, like, it's really interesting how clearly the offensive game plan here was just run it down the Texans' throats, which I didn't really see the Texans having a poor run defense before. But, I mean, clearly it worked because, well, actually, clearly it did not work because it was tied 10-10 at the start of the half, at the second half. So that was just a really interesting thing I noticed, too, that, like, Lamar, they didn't have Lamar throw all that much. And maybe it's just because there was no Mark Andrews in this game, and, like, that was maybe like an unexpected late scratch. I don't know, but I think they will have Mark Andrews back for next week. But anyways,
I don't know. I just think that's odd to say that, like, the running game.
Well, I mean, it's like what I'm saying is, like, it was 10.
Explosion.
It was 10-10, right? And then they started putting up points in the fourth quarter, where, like, they just didn't really pass that much in the first half, which I just thought was interesting. And then once they started passing in the second half a little more, that's when the points started rolling on the board. So if anything, I'm giving a little bit of props to Lamar for his passing. However, if we really want to get into this MVP conversation, because I was telling the boys, I said on the pod last week, I'll bring out some stats for Lamar Jackson and why I believe he is not MVP. And here's how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to tell you guys how Lamar Jackson finished in the regular season in his stats in comparison to other QBs. And then I'm going to compare him to another quarterback. I'm not going to tell you who that quarterback is right away, but I'm going to list off that stats and where they finish. 1, I want you to tell me who you think this quarterback is, and 2, why you think Lamar deserves it over this guy. And I'm not necessarily saying this other guy is my MVP. I've been saying Christian McCaffrey is probably my MVP, but here, just listen to this.
I kind of have an inkling of who this QB is, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Just listen to this. So Lamar Jackson in the regular season finished 15th in passing yards, 11th in passing touchdowns. He had 7 interceptions, which was significantly, I wouldn't say significantly, but definitely on, like, the bottom third. Like, 7 interceptions is good. Passer rating of 102.7, which is 4th. And then his completion percentage, he finished 8th. Okay, so that decent. The passing yards and the passing touchdowns, not in the top 10. I wouldn't consider those to be good metrics by any means. The passing rating is good, and the completion percentage is pretty decent too. Now, obviously, you have to implement in the rushing stats for Lamar, right? Because that's a big part of his game. So he was the top rushing QB. Granted, if Justin Fields had played the same amount of games as Lamar, there's a good likelihood that Justin Fields actually surpasses him.
Well, it didn't happen, though, so you can't use
it didn't happen, but I'm just saying, like, that could have potentially happened. So anyways, if you even add in his rushing stats to his passing, or his rushing yards to his passing yards, he still only finishes 4th. His total TDs, if you add them or if you add his rushing TDs to his passing TDs, he finishes with 29, and he has 13 total turnovers. That's interceptions and fumbles. Okay, so now that's kind of just some basic statistics that are just easy to pull together. Now I'm going to tell you this other quarterback who I think honestly had a better season than Lamar Jackson. So this quarterback finished.
Heard about it until now, huh?
This quarterback finished 3rd in passing yards, 1st in touchdowns. He had 9 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 105.9, which was 2nd. A completion percentage finished 2nd. And his total turnovers was 11 compared to Lamar Jackson's 13. So based off those kind of simple statistics, in pretty much every category, this quarterback surpassed and was superior to Lamar Jackson. Who do you guys think this quarterback is?
It's Geno Smith.
No. Well, I'll just go ahead and say, when you first said that you're going to compare to someone, I thought it was going to be Baker Mayfield. Is that who you thought too, Coop? Oh, okay.
I thought it was Josh Allen, because there's a video out there that I'm sure he watched.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
pull
it's
all the
it's
stats
neither of
up.
those quarterbacks. Believe it or not.
No,
It's
I know
actually,
who it is. I know who
it's
it
a
is.
fan
It's
favorite
Dak,
in this
it's
group.
Dak Prescott.
It's Dak Prescott.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Wow.
it's
Surprised
Dak
you didn't know
Prescott.
that, KDawg.
First in touchdowns was a giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then just to add a little bit of cherry on top of that. So I also was curious more about just overall offense, which obviously the QB drives. Ravens finished 9th in third down conversion percentages, which is kind of a big deal compared to Dallas's 2nd. And then also, I would like to think that the Ravens defense very heavily propped up Lamar because they were first in turnovers, therefore giving him more opportunities to drive with the ball and have
All
more
right.
opportunities to score. So
I want you to think about this first. Do you realize who he's throwing the ball to?
why does that matter? Because
Dak Prescott's throwing to probably the greatest receiver in the game right now, CeeDee Lamb. You're going to be drafting him number 1 in fantasy next year. I know that. You're not going to be drafting Zay Flower up there. You're not going to be. Mark Andrews has been gone for half the season. Odell Beckham Jr. is an aging out wide receiver, and you're going to say, "Oh, he didn't have all his numbers." Yeah, because the wide receiving room was terrible.
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Why
How
was
does that not matter?
so
Give
if that
Lamar
doesn't matter?
CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, hold on. Let me get this in. So if that doesn't matter, then why was Brock Purdy the MVP favorite for like the last month before Lamar Jackson was? He's got Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk. Weapons don't matter. Like the weapons only boost.
Yes, that was his big down. Like that was the reason why he shouldn't have been MVP because he does have all these.
The
He is not
reason
the
why
best player on his team.
the reason why he
MVP goes to
wasn't
the best player on his team that's getting him the furthest because he is doing well.
the reason why
Brock Purdy is not the best player on the team.
The reason why Brock Purdy fell out of the MVP race is because he had like that 4 interception game where then Lamar,
he was never going to win MVP.
He was the
because all he
favorite
had
at that time.
He was never going to win it because he threw it. I bet you Christian McCaffrey probably, if they had continued going on like we all had talked about, if Christian McCaffrey and they had won those games, he would have gotten it because Lamar wasn't doing great up until that point.
See, I'm looking at all my statistics, and
looking at
I'm not
stats.
seeing how a CeeDee Lamb is going to boost Lamar Jackson to suddenly number 2 in passing yards or number 2 in passing touchdowns.
Are you insane?
That doesn't
CeeDee
like
Lamb
it
is
doesn't.
how much better is CeeDee Lamb than Zay Flowers as a number 1 target in an offense?
It doesn't, in my mind, like it doesn't just weapons.
Okay, then
I don't
your
think that
mind
makes
is insane.
no. Like, and the thing is
delusion,
like
dude.
Lamar Jackson wasn't
You're just
even
a Lamar
sniffing.
hater, bro.
No, I'm not. I just pulled you because here's the thing: is you've been calling me a Lamar hater, and I haven't provided stats. But then you look at these, you put them down next to each other, and you go, "Wow, Lamar does not look superior in any of these
Because
categories."
you don't want to look at the bigger picture of things.
Okay, it doesn't. I just think you're just sucking him off for no reason because he had one good game against the Dolphins, who the Dolphins were getting blown out by every other good team, and all of a sudden we're like,
49ers game?
all of a sudden we're like, oh, Lamar did it just like everyone else, so let's just make him MVP.
I understand how you can say yes, there's a recency bias. I 100% agree with you there, but to say he doesn't deserve to be the MVP, what other person deserves to be MVP right now?
I would rather give Dak Prescott an MVP.
You would give Dak Prescott the MVP right now?
I mean, did you not just listen to everything I just read out?
Yeah,
there's going to be recency bias with the playoffs too.
Even I'm going to have to disagree on that one. I just think, like, yes, he's very clearly like a weak MVP candidate compared to the previous ones, many of the previous ones. But it's just like Koop said. I mean, it's just simply who else are you going to give it to? You can't give it to Dak. I mean, the Ravens. I mean, to end the season, they beat the 49ers, they blow out the Dolphins, they beat the Jaguars, they beat the someone else with a winning record. I forget. I mean, you gotta give it to him. But I don't think Lamar's too concerned about that right now.
Well, no, of course he's not concerned about it. We're concerned. I'm concerned about it.
I don't know how concerned I am.
We are ruining the integrity of the league with this.
Oh my God.
We're tarnishing the MVP award. I mean, look, hold on.
I think you keep moving the goalposts. First off, this has never been is Lamar MVP. This has always been, is Lamar a good passer? And he's proven that.
He's
you
not.
Can't even
I just told
that.
you. I just told he's not in the top 10.
He went 16 for 22 with 2 touchdowns this last week
on 150 yards. Woo.
He was
but
efficient. You say
okay, but I'm just
Russell Wilson is a great passer because he only had to throw 15 times to score 2 touchdowns. I've heard that out of your mouth. So like,
okay. I
when are
mean,
you gonna give it up?
I just listed off probably the two most important stats for deeming if a quarterback is a good passer, being passing yards and passing touchdowns. You could probably say completion rate, which he did well in, but he wasn't in the top 10 of either of those. So frankly, you can say he's in the top half of the league, but you can't say he's in the top 10. You want to add in rushing? Sure, we'll put him in the top 10. But he's not a good passer.
Goofy, dude.
He's not a good passer as some of the other quarterbacks in this league.
I can't wait to see what you're passing.
Well, this guy does it for a living. What do you mean by passing?
I don't care, dude. You have no like idea what it takes to be a good passer, obviously.
Okay, but that doesn't matter because we're comparing it against other QBs and their final stats.
And all those QBs are not in the playoffs. They're not playing for a championship, like conference championship.
Oh, okay, and that's because I mean Lamar Jackson has certainly played a key role in the offense. However, he has the best defense in the league right now, and seemingly one of the best defenses we've seen in a long while. That you can't just rule that out. So for you just to say, "Oh, it's just Lamar," well, that's my friend. That's a cap.
Let's move on. Nice.
All right. I think just know you lost.
I lost what? Seriously?
I think we should.
I'm losing my mind listening to your fucking badass takes. Like,
I mean, you didn't bring any other stats to defend Lamar, so.
Okay, dude.
All right, listeners at home, tell us what you guys think, and if you have some good statistics.
That's quite a tangent.
If you have some good statistics for why Lamar should be MVP, send them my way because I haven't found them yet. All right. Let's go to the Packers versus the Niners. Niners 24, Packers 21. What'd you guys see in this one?
But this game was just way closer than what I anticipated, so I'll give Koop credit. He almost called this one. I think when we talked about it last week, we didn't talk enough about the Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan relationship, I feel like them knowing each other, or Matt LaFleur knowing that team so well, kind of benefited them a little bit. I feel like if you're a Packers fan, you just have to feel sick about this game because you lose by 3 points, and the story of the game for them was just missed opportunities. I mean, their first 3 drives, they had 3 long drives, got them into the red zone, and they only got 6 points out of that. So you turn at least even only one of those into a touchdown, and looking at that final score, they might win the game. And then that's not even to mention in the fourth quarter, after that huge Aaron Jones run, they missed that field goal that would have ultimately tied the game at the end. So it's just so many missed opportunities, which is just, it must be really disappointed, especially given that, if they advance to the championship game, they're playing the Lions, who last time they played, the Packers beat them in Detroit. So yeah, it's just got to feel really bad. I mean, and the 49ers, give them credit. They made the plays that they needed to win, but yeah, it's just a lot closer game than I expected.
I see this story. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Koop.
Nope, you go ahead, bud.
I was just going to say, I see this story very similar to how the Texans story kind of ran out, where Packers are rolling out Jordan Love, who hasn't really, seen much game time. And, they have a very young core. And it's like, you got to be happy if you're a Packers fan. I mean, you beat the boys at home, and then you go and you nearly beat the Niners. I honestly think the Packers should have won this game. Similar to what you're saying, KDawg, just missed opportunities. And, the Niners, they suddenly look very beatable. Aaron Jones just absolutely gashed them on the ground. Jordan Love looks like he's actually here to stay. And so, I mean, there's a bright young future with this Packers core. And they could really give them, and the Lions could be running the North for quite a while. I wouldn't be surprised if either of these teams take it next year, just because of how sharp the Packers were in the postseason. And honestly, Jordan Love just looked like it was Aaron Rodgers out there with how he was throwing the ball around.
A lot of people were saying it looked like Brett Favre out there after that last interception, though. That last interception was just
that was so bad.
And it was just completely. It makes it even worse because it was just completely unnecessary, to make that throw across your body. It was first down. They had 2 timeouts. It's just so unnecessary. Throws it into triple coverage.
Yeah, that game was absolutely, especially when you have money on it, especially when you pick an upset like that. It's extremely annoying to see the team lose the game in that way. Like they won that game. I know you said you thought they should have won, blah blah. Well, they should have won. They lost that game. Like Anders is a terrible kicker. He's been terrible. He should not be on that team. And then he missed that kick, and then you can't hold that defense. Brock Purdy hadn't looked great the whole game, and then now he was able to march down the field and all this storyline where he's amazing now because he's able to do this. It's disgusting that that would happen, and it's like the worst outcome I could imagine with the 49ers moving on. I was so ready for them to be out. I was soaking up their subreddit saying, oh, like all the way through the game, they're like, oh, we lost this game. Like wasn't even out of the first half, and their fans were already crying. And for them to be rewarded with this bullshit, ridiculous. Like they're a terrible team. They're gonna get smoked, hopefully by the Lions, if not by the Ravens. And I'm gonna enjoy that so much.
It really feels like a different team without Debo in there. Like once he was out, that offense just seems like he shut down. Like it really feels like Debo's kind of the key to open things up. The Z, what's the phrase? Like where he's like the not the X factor or the Y, but he's like the Z where he just kind of does it all. And I agree. I think the 49ers are in for a very rude awakening when the Lions come roaring into town. So I think that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, as a Seahawks fan, we are praying on the downfall of the Niners, and that unfortunately did not happen. However, I think there's still two great opportunities for that. Even when I picked them as my ESPN pigskin playoff bracket winner, I picked it out of, well, I guess logic, although my logic isn't looking all that great right now. I still hope that they get killed. So yeah. Okay, Lions and Bucks. Lions taking out the Buccaneers 31-23. Big day for Jared Goff, throwing a lot, 43 times. And then, man, Gibbs, how about that guy, huh? Rushing on an average 8.2 yards per carry. Oh my goodness, Gibbs is looking like running back 10, maybe finishing in the season, perhaps.
Maybe
Rookie of the year.
We don't count the playoffs.
When you have a guy who can score a touchdown like he did, what was it, from like 40 yards out or something? Like that just changes your offense. Montgomery didn't do anything this game, right? He had like 30 yards maybe. Yeah, Gibbs looks like the guy for sure. I would like to issue a formal apology to the Lions, as about a month ago I called them frauds, and here they are in the NFC Championship game. So I was wrong about that. I mean, they've won more playoff games in the last 2 weeks than they have their entire existence. So
I also
gotta give them credit. Gotta give them credit for that.
Damn, I don't know the official one, but Jared Goff has been to the NFC Championship. Dak is.
That would make sense. Yeah.
I'd have to do some research on that to be sure, but yeah, no, I just, that is a good point. Like you root for the underdog in the Lions, but at the same time, for someone like me, it hurts a little bit when the Lions make the NFC Championship. It just adds to the list. Got a lot. Just gets shorter and shorter
to even beat the Lions.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying among the teams that haven't made an NFC Championship in years, the list just got a little shorter. I think since the turn of the century, now it's only the Cowboys and the Commanders.
Is it really?
Oh,
gross. In the NFC, but yes.
Oh, I mean, you got to give Baker Mayfield a little bit of props too. I mean, he had a relatively decent game, 2 picks, which aren't great, but throwing for 350 yards and 3 tutties. Like Baker Mayfield is here to stay, man. Like he deserves to be a quarterback, a starting quarterback on one of these 32 teams, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
I don't know.
Like honestly, keep him with the Bucks.
We all know you have a Baker boner, but we all knew Baker just wasn't that guy. He was all the way.
I mean, I think taking out the Eagles. Granted, the Eagles were definitely fraudulent, but also, I mean, for throwing for 350 yards and nearly beating
weakest
a surging Lions
secondaries remaining. It's not.
You're talking about the Lions or the Eagles?
The Lions. Their secondary is like 29 grade.
Yeah, the Lions secondary is awful, and like, I mean, 2 of the Buccaneers touchdowns were like these 2 really quick long drives, like the one at the end of the half
Yeah.
and then I think one in the second half. But yeah, anyone, that's why I think it's funny that whole Aaron Glenn. I don't know if is he really that good of a head coaching candidate, the former defensive back who's leading the 29th ranked pass defense in the league. Do you really want that guy? I would say no.
No.
But
I mean, the
but I
same
think
conversation can be had for Dan Quinn.
I mean, I don't think anybody wants.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Keep
fair
seeing he's
enough.
getting interviews somehow.
If he goes to the Seahawks, I'm officially a.
Did you guys know that Dan Campbell has the best record? There's probably a minimum amount of games for this, but he has the best record ever against the spread. It's something like
Really?
35-26 or something like that.
Jeez.
So it's a nice little tidbit if you're maybe hopefully C-Dubs is listening to that one.
Yeah,
I was gonna
nice.
say KDawg more like C-Dubs.
KDawg's more like K Bets.
Hey, bets.
See, that's what I was going. I was trying to find something there, but I just couldn't.
Pretty clever, Coop. Pretty clever. One last thing I have on this one, that Aiden Hutchinson moment at the end. I'm sure you guys saw. He's just kind of.
Yeah.
I think he grew up in Michigan, went to Michigan.
Yep.
Just looking around. That was a good moment. That was like a cinema moment. Cinematic moment. That's what I'm looking for.
Cool.
It is cool. It is cool to see a homegrown guy like lead his team into, or past the drought to the water, giving the Lions something to drink on. That is cool.
I saw like a meme of, or maybe it was just during the game, like a really young Lions fan hat on, and like just to imagine like all the years of these people not, even just as a Lions fan, like Lions fan 42069, like his whole life he's never seen anything like this, and then this little like 3-year-old kid, this is all he knows. This is all he's gonna expect doing. So hopefully he won't be let down, or hopefully they can continue doing this. I'd like to see a Lions. I think it would be cool.
Yeah, that was a good point. How different that could be in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think if the Lions start dominating, then we're gonna start hating them in the similar sense of like Patrick Mahomes or like,
because I can't hate Jared
the Niners
Goff like I hate Patrick at all.
Why? What if they start? What if it's like
he's
the
not
Seahawks?
A little whiner.
Okay, but what if the Seahawks start like let's just say our new head coach builds a juggernaut and we get kind of a renaissance Legion of Boom and like we get some new QB who's really good and it's us versus the Lions in the NFC Championship every year and the Lions just keep clapping our cheeks and then Dan Campbell's roaring like you're not gonna have a little disdain for the Lions.
I got a little sweet tooth for the Lions and nothing like Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce is ever gonna happen again, which like adds so much more hate onto the
unless like Sydney Sweeney starts dating Jared Goff or something like that.
Jared Goff is
okay. Then maybe Aiden Hutchinson.
You've done your research. Speaking of, should we get into that Chiefs game? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh, I was gonna say, should we get into that Sydney Sweeney hot one?
Oh,
is that what you're gonna?
No, but that's a good point, Coop.
Yeah, go check out anybody but you.
Actually,
go check out anybody but you. Not a sponsor. Chiefs squeak out a win against the Buffalo Bills, 27-24. Dude, this game,
all of our hearts.
Oh God, this game, dude. Just like I have that kick just burned into my memory of just how it just went up, and then dude, the thing just took off. Like that was brutal. This is such a tough game. Like Josh Allen, I thought he had a pretty decent game too.
I think
leading the Bills. Like I don't think it was a Josh Allen thing. I mean,
he was let down.
It was, I don't know, is it the defense? It's hard to say where things went awry. KDawg, what do you got on this one?
I mean, I think this was just, I don't think you can point your finger at any one thing beyond, of course, Tyler Bass at the end, but I don't know that he deserves that. I mean, I think this was just a battle of two really good teams. There's nothing you can really pin as far as like a bad call or like, if this, besides the kick, again, if this thing went one way, they should have gone the other. Like, the Chiefs just played really, really good, and not to take away from the Bills, but the Chiefs were just the better team. Like, no question in my mind. You go back to, I forget if it was the third or fourth quarter, but when the Chiefs fumbled on the 1 yard line, it was a touchback.
Yeah.
Well, if that had not happened, the Chiefs go up 2 scores with not much time left in the game. And we wouldn't even be talking about it like we are now. So it's just, I think the Chiefs are the better team, and that must really hurt for Bills fans. I know they wanted this one more than probably any team this weekend. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Coop?
Well, I mean, you said there wasn't any bad calls. I would agree with you on the rest part, but you gotta say that fourth down fake punt was all Damar Hamlin running the ball.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And
yeah, oh yeah, terrible call. Well, that's what set up, but then it ended up not mattering because that's what set up the touchback.
Yeah,
but yeah,
right
you're right. I mean, that was an awful
that kind of
call.
offsets. Let's say that offsets.
Yeah,
well, so
fair.
it sounded like they thought or they noticed that there were 10 players on the Chiefs defense.
Yeah.
Like for that special teams play, which does that matter that much? Like, sure, like a one player difference, but like to go for it on 4th and 5, like, is that really like?
I think we saw that did not matter because
I mean, it's not like any guarantee. Like,
that was
congrats,
just,
comeback player of the year, Damar Hamlin. You came in the postseason for 2 yards and you didn't get it.
I'm not sure if everyone on the team bet on him for comeback player of the year and they needed to throw a play in for him or something, but. Yeah, that was just a terrible decision. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I just think Josh Allen played well. I mean, he almost put up 200 yards and a touchdown, and then he has 2 touchdowns on the ground. He put up all their points besides Bass somehow kicking a field.
Yeah.
But Stephon Diggs non-existent. I thought he would have a much bigger game. 3 for 21. He had that massive miss. Like I think Allen threw like 70 yards, and it went straight through Diggs' hand. That would have set up something big.
Wasn't that the same? Was that not the same drive that Tyler Bass missed the field goal?
I think it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
So I've seen stuff about that. I'm like, does it really matter? Like,
it does matter because you have
a
lot more
I suppose
time.
things would fall differently.
Everything. Yeah.
I suppose, but I don't know.
I don't know. I think Josh Allen was kind of like Josh Allen, me, everybody who picked the Bills in the Super Bowl. We were all let down. Like this sucks. I don't want to see Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, this is the worst outcome that could happen for me. The 49ers win and the Chiefs win. And that's might be an illusion. I don't know if illusion would be the right word, but that might be something pointing towards who I'm picking in the Super Bowl just because there's no way these teams are going to keep losing. They shouldn't have won these games.
Yeah, fair. I think if we do want to point to something, I feel like you got to point to the lack of defense on the Bills side. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco was averaging 6.5 yards per carry. That is nuts. I mean, Pacheco was looking great in this game, but you got to stop the run at some point.
Pacheco's been looking good the past month. I don't know if it says more about the Bills' defense. I think the Chiefs just have a really good running game right now.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly seems like they're leaning on that a lot.
And
Kelsey got involved again
to not drop anymore. Well, I mean,
he had a nice deep ball.
2 for 62.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the conspiracy around the NFL Super Bowl logo and the teams that will make it based on the colors?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I feel like it's a big talking point of late, and I feel like the NFL somehow came up with that on their own and surged that into the waters to somehow throw us off the scent of who's going to win these games. Or I just hate that everything's like. I really think like sometimes that the NBA is scripted, but now I just think like the NFL is truly like scripted based off what some like decision makings are and things that we see. Like it just like it just feels gross.
Yeah. Yep. And actually, I'll get in.
Anyways, for people who don't know of the theory, it's basically the Super Bowl logo has like 2 colors, and for the past 2 seasons, the 2 colors have been the colors have been of the teams that make it. It's like the first year was like Rams, Bengals, so it was like orange and yellow, and then last year was Chiefs and Eagles was red and green. And this year's it's red and purple. So hypothetically that would be Ravens, Niners, which to me is one of the worst outcomes. But you can't just have a whole red logo, right? So you got to throw some purple in there somewhere, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, anything more on this Chiefs Bills game, guys? So like are we pronouncing the Bills dead for next season?
We'll see.
No, I wouldn't.
We pronounced them dead way too early. So
yeah, I think we've lost our pronouncing the Bills dead privileges for a little while.
I would have to look at their contracts because I imagine Josh Allen has he got paid yet?
Yes, and I know his cap hit next year is like double what it was this year.
Yeah,
it's like 20 to 40 million or something like that.
Woo!
So that is a big
Diggs
factor. Diggs might be out of there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? So window might be shutting. Bills fans, we're sorry. You keep getting there, and you just don't have the sauce. Okay, contest update. So now, this is from our giveaway that we did, the Pigskin Playoff Challenge bracket. So last weekend, TG Mango was in first, and now we have a new person in first. They go by the name D Calls Game with 500 points. I think they've hit nearly everything. And just as a FYI, guys, if we don't know you personally, or we don't recognize like your in ESPN name, make sure that you either message us or give us a follow and message us and let us know like that's you. Because otherwise, if we don't know you, then we have no other way of getting a giveaway to you for winning. So just want to put that out in the water now. TG Mango is currently in second, and then there's 6 people tied for third. Koop is involved. Koop is in that 6 as well. So, and then KDawg and I are pretty much dead. So, because I had the Ravens getting knocked out early. I also had the Bills going to the Super Bowl. So I'm dead.
Yeah, and that third place is kind of that's an illusion in itself because I had the Bills winning this. I'm not going to be able to keep going.
Yeah. So, anywho, good luck to the people that are still in it. I think, honestly, it kind of looked like, it has been a nice blend so far of upsets and the overdogs, if you will, winning it. So, it'll be fun to see how it proceeds. All right. So, do you guys want to get into the middle segment? KDawg, you want to lead us? You want to take us away?
Yeah, so, we're here in championship weekend. We have what are supposedly the 4 best teams in the NFL. And so we thought it'd be fun to do we love our top 10 list. So we'll do a little top 10 of the players in championship weekend. I'm curious how we'll align on this, particularly with a certain Ravens quarterback, Prophet Jay. I can just go through my list quickly. I'll see if you guys have any questions, comments, see what you guys think. At number 10, I have the sun god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's way too.
Well, we'll see, buddy. We'll see. Definitely the best wide receiver, I think, remaining. And
by
had
far.
a really good season, 1,500 yards, I think, 10 touchdowns. Looks great in the playoffs so far. Definitely a key to that offense. Number 9, I've got Trent Williams, the 49ers left tackle. I mean, he's an all-pro every year. All-pro every year, deserves to be on this list. Although I will say, I think with offensive linemen sometimes they kind of get, like, because we don't know many of them, like the really big ones, we know their names, and then they get voted every year. I kind of have that feeling, but I'll put him number 9. Did you see him
run off the sideline this past game and just start beating the shit out of people and then get a penalty? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's why he's only at number 9. Okay. Number 8, although he was kind of injured this year, he was still an all-pro. I got Chris Jones of the Chiefs. Number 7, I've got Roquan Smith of the Ravens. Bears, you really messed that one up, trading him away this season. Number 6, I got Nick Bosa. He would be higher, but he did kind of have a down year this year, by his standards at least. Number 5, I got Fred Warner. Number 4, I have Defensive Player of the Year candidate Aiden Hutchinson. Some would say favorite. Number 3, I have Lamar Jackson. Yes, a top 3 for him. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. And number 1, of course, I've got Patrick Mahomes.
No, you can't have Patrick Mahomes over. I don't know how you have
Patty up there.
I would put Lamar over Patrick Mahomes.
You guys,
I'm just kind of shocked at how many defensive players you have.
I was too. I definitely don't have the majority of those guys.
You have 2 of the best defenses in the league. You got the 49ers and Ravens. They're loaded with defensive talent.
Yeah, that was probably
if you don't have Patrick Mahomes as number 1, then you're crazy.
What?
Okay. Well,
Wait, hold on.
Crazy I am.
Before you go, Coop. How? Then how come Patrick Mahomes isn't your MVP?
I don't know either.
That doesn't make sense, KDawg.
Well, I'm looking at this. If I were I don't even know how to pose this question, but if I were any team and I was like, I can pick one player from any team to be on my team this championship weekend, it's obviously Patrick Mahomes. Like, no one even comes close in my mind.
Is it?
I think
I'd probably want
you guys.
McCaffrey
you guys have let your hate blind you a bit. This guy's the best.
No.
He still continues. He's going to his 6.
But he has not been the best this.
Yeah, because he's playing with a bunch of bums.
Not by any means has he been
still-
the best.
But
That's the
despite
same
that-
argument I had for
despite
Lamar
that-
being MVP was
despite
because
that-
he's playing with bums.
Despite that, he still finds himself in his 6th straight AFC Championship game, and he
I
has a
don't
good chance
care.
going to the Super
That's
Bowl.
more-
and he has
dude.
a bum team.
You got to put Pacheco on that list then. If you
All right, give
If
me
you
your
got-
list.
if you-
Give me your list.
So I'm gonna go. I think my list. Maybe I didn't put enough thought into it.
I clearly did it.
I kind of just took a dartboard and I threw some darts on it. Number 10. I don't know how you forget this guy, Travis Kelce. You didn't say
He's
that.
probably 11. He's probably 11.
I think you got to give him props. So the way I kind of built this list is like, which of these all these teams players need to go off to kind of win. So I got, Kelsey's got to be up there, and then I got someone sneaking in that you probably never thought of. Mark Andrews, baby, I love this guy. He's back. He is back, and he's gonna be balling out there. We saw how Isaiah Likely did all season when in his absence. Now we're gonna see him back with Lamar, and on this. This amazing Ravens team. What'd you say? Is he though? Pretty sure. Number 8, I got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Thank you for listening.
Got Jahmyr Gibbs. He's like electric out there. I think we all kind of joked around saying, imagine Bijan was on the Lions or whatever we had said. Imagine Bijan, if Bijan was in the same situation as Gibbs, like he'd be just as. It's definitely the best rookie this year, besides C.J. Stroud. And then number 7, I got Aiden Hutchinson, my defensive player of the year. I think if he continues to play as well as he has been, he's gonna be playing. Number 6, I got Nick Bosa. I do like my defensive ends because I used to be one, so I gotta have Nick Bosa in here too. I think he's better than Hutch. And then number 5, I got another rookie on my list. I got Laporta. This guy's been going off too. You don't like that, huh? You don't like that?
Yeah, a lot of tight ends and defensive ends.
Well, I'm a big fan, all right? I'm a big fan. There's some bias there. I think Laporta's been amazing this year. I mean, he broke, tight end receiving records as a rookie, or for rookies, blah, blah, tight end, or touchdowns as well. Stuff like that. He's going to be a big piece in the Lions and Niners. And then number 4, I got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you got to give him his due. I think he's still, a top 5 player. And he definitely needs to play well for the Chiefs to beat the Ravens. He's going to be tested, probably the biggest test of the whole year for him. And he hasn't looked too great, but if he can dial it in against the Ravens, a shot. Number 3, the Sun God, baby. I also love this guy.
Whoa.
I got him up here because I think he is the key for the Lions. Like, every game we've ever seen the Lions win, it's because Amon-Ra has been balling out.
True.
He's got to keep doing that. Goff's just got to feed Amon-Ra and Laporta and Gibbs. I mean, I got 4 Lions on here. Jesus. As long as they keep playing well, they're going to be in the Super Bowl. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. You can't leave him off this list, and he can't be lower than 2. The dude's an animal. He should be MVP if Lamar wasn't number 1, baby. I got Lamar at 1. He has to be number 1 because he's way better than Patrick Mahomes, and I would absolutely take him on my team before that scrub.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay. Well, my list is going to be gross now hearing your guys's, but stick with it. Just bear with me. I think I was a little more offensive heavy. So, at number 10, a guy that you guys really didn't consider, and we really got to give him a little more credit. I got Justin Tucker, boys. Justin Tucker at number 10.
Oh my god!
Because they got to be able to kick field goals.
I thought about
that. Put Justin Tucker at number 10. At number 9, I got Patrick Queen, who's been solid linebacker for the Ravens this season.
Come on, guy.
I just think he deserves to be on the top 10.
If you don't have Roquan Smith over Queen, then
you have Roquan Smith.
No. At number 8, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. Similar to what Koop was saying, Jahmyr Gibbs is just the X factor on this team, man. He can do it all. He can take it from, he can get it from the air. He can get it on the ground. He just does it all, and his acceleration is just nutty. And he will break your ankles. He will snatch your ankles, and then score a touchdown, and then come back and give you your ankles so he can steal them again on the next drive. So, give me Gibbs. That was my top 10 running back this year and rookie of the year. Not far off. Number 7, give me the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Similar to what Koop was saying, if this we've always said when we're covering the Lions games, is that if Amon-Ra doesn't eat, then the Lions don't eat in general. However, I think there might be a little bit of a different story coming up for the game this weekend. However, Amon-Ra was looking great, and let's get him at 7. Now, number 6, I got Brock Purdy. Now, you guys might be thinking Brock Purdy is just a game manager, and I think not really. I mean, he's extremely efficient with the ball. He doesn't turn it over often, and he also does quite well under pressure. And I think, I definitely think he deserves to be on the top 10 list. I think we often disrespect him, and he was the favorite for MVP for the regular season for a good chunk of time.
What the hell is your
number 5? Give me Jared Goff,
dude.
Because Jared Goff is showing that he can pass the ball. He can understand different defensive schemes and how to operate within those, and be a good game leader.
Of course, he can understand these defensive schemes.
Yeah, but he can process information at a rapid rate, and he gets the ball in an accurate fashion to these wide receivers that honestly aren't, outside of Amon-Ra, aren't necessarily world beaters. I mean, Jameson Williams isn't really proven to be a dude quite yet. You got Josh Reynolds, who's not really a dude.
Sam Laporta
and he's spreading it around. So at number 4, give me Nick Bosa. I don't need much more to be said about that. At number 3, I have Patrick. He plays defensive end, baby. What? Why are you laughing? All right, number 3, Mahomes. 2, Lamar, and 1, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, so you think Lamar sucks, but he's better than Patrick Mahomes?
I didn't say. I've never said Lamar sucks.
Mahomes on this list?
I just said I have Mahomes at 3.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
You guys are letting your Chiefs hate blind you from
no way.
The best quarterback we've ever seen.
Oh my god.
wow.
So you're gonna crown him the best quarterback you've ever seen already?
I mean, talent-wise, yes. I don't think he's in terms of what he's accomplished. No, he has not touched Brady yet. But in terms of like
talent,
the eye test, and what he's accomplished thus far.
I don't know, man. I'm actually kind of calling that into question after this.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think you should compare.
I think he's great.
Compare his first 6 seasons to anybody else, and no one even close.
No, you're right. There is a recency bias there. I think he's great. But I mean, this last season kind of put a little bad taste in my mouth. I know Brady's had bad seasons. I know
Darius Toney
Rodgers
and Marcus Valdez-Scantling and.
You're right. But he also did that last season.
Yeah, he won the Super Bowl with it.
Exactly. So why wasn't he able to do it again?
He still had a great year. You just hold him to an impossible standard.
He did not have a good year.
You just hit the.
As someone who owned him in fantasy, he did not have a good year. I will tell you that right now.
He didn't have the year you're accustomed to, but you're just setting too high of a standard for him.
All right.
Well, hold on.
I'll do a deep dive next week again.
When you say he's the greatest quarterback of all time, isn't that the highest standard you can hold somebody to? KDawg?
Well, that doesn't mean he's going to be the number 1 quarterback statistically every single year. No one can do that.
Oh, okay. Well, he's held to a certain standard, though, isn't he?
If his bad season is 4,200 yards, 27 touchdowns, 67 completion percentage.
Is nothing.
Yeah, well, the highest.
He also had 14 picks.
Yeah, he did have a lot of picks this year.
But how many of those can you blame on the receiver?
But he finds them. Yeah, true. And he finds himself he's 6 for 6 making the AFC Championship. That's ridiculous.
Well, he's had weak competition, hasn't he?
No, not really.
I think doesn't that kind of go to show like maybe sure Mahomes has played a part, but also like just the coaching and Andy Reid in general, just having a winning environment.
Argument against Tom Brady was that the conference he played in was terrible, or the division he played in was terrible, and that's why he was able to. And can't you say the same thing about Patrick Mahomes?
Not to the degree that it was for the Patriots, but I hear you on that. And I think the AFC is stronger now than it was for many of the years that Tom Brady was
can't you also
playing.
make the argument that the refs had also helped him along this season, as well as the power of Taylor Swift?
I won't speak to those. Maybe it's time we get into.
I think we have the stats to back that up.
Games.
Sure, KDawg. We can get into the games. Speaking of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, we got the Chiefs versus the Ravens. First game up on Sunday at noon PST. And currently the Ravens are the favorite for this game at home. They're 3.5 point favorites, boys. Over-unders 44.5. And if you haven't seen the conspiracies of the NFL assigning ref, speaking of refs, that greatly favor this particular ref, greatly favors the away team, the visiting team, in terms of penalty flags. I think it was by, what did the video say, Coop? Like 70% or something crazy
John
like that?
Smith, the ref, the last 3 years, home teams win 56% of the time. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm looking at an Instagram reel without audio, so I'm trying to figure this out. But basically, the away team wins, I think, at 60% under this guy. Something pretty crazy. So that doesn't sway you to who to pick. I don't know. Beyond Taylor.
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. But maybe it's
Sorry,
that's like
guys.
the whole stigma between, like, oh, the NFL's doing this, and then maybe that's like a way to get us to throw more money on the Chiefs money line or something. That's Vegas, in the background puppeteering the NFL and brainwashing us to pick the Chiefs. Just saying.
So
it's
you
not
guys
out of the
picked
realm of possibilities.
Does that mean you're picking the Chiefs, Private Jay?
Hell no. I'm taking the Ravens. I've bet against these guys too many times. I don't want to take the Ravens. I would rather have who would I rather have? A lot of other teams. I'd rather have the Bills come back from the dead and suplex the Chiefs
Ravens?
And the Ravens to suplex them into a table. Because I don't find the Ravens a particularly enjoyable team to watch. Like, they're just not. I don't find it to be
That's
good,
how I know
fun
you're
football.
a Lamar hater, because when Lamar is going off, it's probably some of the most fun football to watch.
I mean, I was gonna say it's more because this defense that the Ravens has just honestly shuts teams down. Like, I could probably pull it up, but there's probably at least 10 games this season where they held a team to like 10 points or less. And then it just becomes the Ravens just handing the ball to Gus Edwards, Dalvin Cook, Lamar Jackson doing QB design runs over and over and over again. Like, I'm, call me a basic bitch, but I love just watching guys sling it, and Lamar doesn't do that. It's not his strong suit. But
oh my God.
I mean, he doesn't
done that many times this season. We've seen him sling it to wide open Isaiah Likely's and Zay Flowers.
I'm saying, like, in terms of volume, like, you don't see Lamar throwing often more than 35 times. It's usually in the 20 to 25 range.
More than 35 is a lot for any quarter.
It is, sure. But I'm just saying, like, if I were to, I'm just saying in my preference of watching football, I would rather not see that. So
I'm just sitting here wondering how we got on this topic once again.
Because Coop said, "Why don't you want to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl?"
Maybe we need a special edition episode for this debate.
Nah, I think we can move. I don't think we need to talk about this anymore.
An MMA match between Jay and my.
Me and Lamar Jackson.
KDawg, who you got?
Well, this one's tough for me because the Ravens. I doubted them against the Texans. I was foolish to do so. I think I'd be foolish to doubt them in this game as well. I mean, they just look dominant on defense. Lamar, he doesn't do it in a way we're used to, but he is as among the most unstoppable players in the league when he gets it going on the air or in the air and on the ground. Ravens just look so good right now. However, I currently find myself down one game in our playoff standings with 3 games to go, and so I got to pick the Chiefs here in an effort to win our playoff challenge. And I don't feel bad about taking it here. I mean, they're only 3.5-point underdogs. The Chiefs, they just have that X factor that I've referred to in Patrick Mahomes, and I think they have what it takes to get it done here. I don't know. I think they are the worst team. I don't think there's any question about that. But I think they can find a way to win. So I'm gonna go with them.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna do this pick for this game, and then I'm gonna jump into.
Yeah.
I am gonna hate myself for this. Is the last matchup I would ever want to see in the Super Bowl, and I was already gonna pick this before you decided to do your little switcheroo there. I do not want to see this. This is a emotional hedge, and this is the Super Bowl that the NFL wants and media wants. I'm picking the Chiefs here because there's no way in hell Taylor Swift is not going to be out of the Super Bowl. With how this season has gone, we've seen it this whole season. We've watched this play out. I'm sure early on we've all talked about this. I even said I bet Taylor Swift's going to come in through, drop in with a parachute and come in and sing the national anthem. Like, I have been expecting this whole time. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, and they're going to play the 49ers, and it's going to be the worst. I might even just skip watching it because I would love to see the Ravens and Lions. I would love to watch that, but I know it's not going to happen. And we haven't seen the Chiefs and 49ers since 2022. So it's been a while. Every other matchup we've literally seen. So it would be kind of boring to watch a repeat. With how the season ended last year with the Niners, like Brock Purdy getting hurt, they're right on the cusp. Be kind of a shame they weren't able. I mean, the Lions have come a long way. I love the Lions, but the narrative's too strong for them and Brock Purdy. So I'm picking the Chiefs and the Niners. It
That's
sucks.
disgusting.
I mean,
that's gross.
I don't
Nobody
think,
wants to see that.
I'm gonna go. I'll go into my pick too. I have the Niners as well. I mean, I just don't. Anyone who's saying like, I feel like the narrative this week against the Niners is like, oh, you barely beat the Packers, the 7-seeded Packers, and I think that close game says more about how good the Packers actually are. I mean, the fact that they went into Dallas, blew out the Cowboys, they played close to the 49ers. I think the Packers just at the end of this year were a really, really good team. And, you look at the line for this game, the 49ers, despite that, they're still favored by 7 points this game. So Vegas is telling you it doesn't matter that game was close last week. 49ers are at home. They feel this is their time after so many disappointing playoff losses. And I think that, that the Lions, if you look at the Lions defense, for example, I mean, their strength is their run defense. However, I don't care how good your run defense is. Are you really going to stop Christian McCaffrey from breaking off a few runs? And then the pass defense of the Lions is going to be their downfall. Brock Purdy is great at managing, or I shouldn't say managing, but he's great at taking care of the ball, going through his reads, finding who's open. And so Debo or no Debo, I think 49ers win this game. And I don't know that I don't know if I'm expecting it to be that close, honestly.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going opposite of you guys for both games. I'm actually taking the Lions.
I mean, Doug, I love your matchup. I love it. I wish I could pick that.
Yeah, I'm not really rooting for what I'm choosing, but it's just
and
what my head is telling me.
To go back to the whole logo, Super Bowl logo theory. You know what colors, when you mix them together, blue and red, you know what they make? They make purple. So maybe the NFL is throwing us off a little bit and just saying the Chiefs are going to make it, and then obviously one of the Niners or Lions are going to make it in because they got that purple color. I don't know. Anyways, so you're saying, KDawg was saying that the Packers are a really solid team, which I think at the end of the season I do agree. And I guess KDawg, actually, let me ask you a question. Do you think if the Packers and Lions played this week, do you think the Packers would beat the Lions?
I don't know. I think they'd have a really good chance. I don't know who I would choose though.
So here's,
honest, but I could definitely see the Packers beating them. Yes.
So here's my logic in this game. I think the Packers and Lions kind of have very similar offensive makeup in terms of both have a pretty strong run game. The passing game is there. They kind of each have kind of a dude. The Packers don't really have a dude yet, but kind of a dude. And they spread out the ball, right? And honestly, from what I saw, especially with like Aaron Jones on the ground, and when I think about what the Lions really do best is honestly kind of a ground and pound between both Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I see the Lions actually busting through this 49ers defense. And yes, the Niners are going to probably take advantage of this poor Lions secondary. But I think the Lions, with how strong their run game is, they'll have a better opportunity to control the clock, control the rhythm, the motion of this game, and ultimately take the dubski. I think this is going to be... I know we love talking media, and it sucks, honestly. I hate that the media has influenced our minds so much in the NFL, where, Koop, you feel obligated to take a team that you don't think is necessarily going to win. You pick them because of the media. But media be damned. Taylor Swift be damned. I'm taking the Lions, man, because I truly think that they're going to win this game. I think right now, with what the Packers showed us last week, is that the Lions have an opportunity to defeat the boogeyman in the Niners, the Voldemorts of the NFC, and go on to the Super Bowl. And we're going to see Jared Goff in Super Bowl form, just like we have 2 years ago. And
remember how good he was back then?
Pretty sure it was more
Super
than
Bowl
2 years
form.
ago.
well, the Rams
little
were in
more
the
than
Super
2
Bowl 2 years
years.
ago. Oh, I guess that was Stafford, huh? Never mind. But anyways, yeah, give me the Lions. I'm calling for a Lions-Ravens matchup. In my pigskin bracket, I picked the Niners to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And honestly, like after seeing how the Niners have been playing, I honestly don't necessarily agree with that anymore. And especially the wild card that we still don't know, and we probably won't know until game time, is Deebo Samuel. And I really hold a lot of regard in this statement, and that I think this offense is completely different with Deebo. So if Debo's not in this game, I think that that sways it even more in the Lions' favor. But with him there, I'll still pick the Lions. So
Nice.
that's what I got.
You're doing God's work.
I'm praying for the only way I'm going to be interested in this Super Bowl is if the Lions are in it. So
I know.
I'm praying that they win. All right,
Lions or Ravens
for you guys. Yeah, for you guys. KDawg, do you want to give us your? Are we doing top 4 power rankings? You guys want to do that?
Just run through them.
Just run through them real quick.
I'll do that, and I'll do my smoking hot take too. Each go through. So number 4, I have the Detroit Lions. Number 3, I've got the Chiefs. Even though I know I picked them to win, I do not think they're the best team, but I think they could find a way to win anyway. Number 2, I have the 49ers, and number 1, I have the Ravens. After they clearly looked like the most dominant team a week ago. My smoking hot take though, I am predicting that Brock Purdy will lead all quarterbacks this weekend in yards and touchdowns, and will also have 0 turnovers.
Okay.
Is that hot enough for you guys?
Yards.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd really only for yards would be competing probably just against Goff for that, because it's going to be that Chiefs Ravens is probably going to be a pretty defensive matchup.
Would you say Would you say Lamar rushing plus passing? He'll have more than him there.
No, I'm talking about passing yards.
Just passing yards.
I feel like that's kind of a lock. You said the most passing touchdowns too.
Yeah.
Okay, that one might be a little spicy because McCaffrey's in there to snipe away some things, but
Sure. Wait,
it feels
yards and passing touchdowns
and have
no
0
turnovers.
He's not going to rush any touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm just talking passing.
I don't think Brock Purdy has a rushing.
He's got to have a rushing touchdown.
He probably does. I'll go ahead and do mine. So my standings are kind of funny because I got the 2 worst teams winning this week. I got the Chiefs at number 4. I got the Niners at number 3. Then the Lions at 2 and the Ravens at 1. Just going from divisional to almost get beat by the Packers. And then Ravens absolutely dominant. Lions, that's probably my only sus one. You could say they might be in picking them. This is like my last hurrah for number 2. And then my smoking hot take is that across all 4 games, the tight ends combined for 10 touchdowns.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I'm a tight end guy. I love my tight end. So that means
you could have said like 6,
that's good and
we
hot.
would have let you get away with it.
What? 6?
That's good and hot.
10.
I'd say 8.
Jeez,
I'd say
Christ.
8 would be the lowest you could go, but 10 is.
We'll
You're
do
getting
10,
extra credit on this one.
My fallback will be 8. If I get to 8, then I think I'll be happy with that. I won't hit it pretty happy.
10's pretty nutty, but I mean, you got Kittle, Laporta, Andrew, and is Andrews confirmed back this week?
I don't know, but this is probably the best like tight end class to be even calling something like this. You got Kelsey, Andrews, likely, Laporta.
These are basically like your top 4. I mean, honestly, like you could make an argument for that.
I think it could definitely happen.
Nice, that's fun. I like that one. You guys had a lot more fun ones than I did. All right, so my power rankings, Coop, I actually had the same exact ones as you. Chiefs at 4, 3 at 9, 3 I have the Niners, 2 the Lions, and 1 the Ravens, and that's just because I have the Lions beating the Niners and the Ravens beating the Chiefs. So it's just how that works out.
You could tell where my heart was.
It's just you just got to go with it, man. Don't go with your heart. Don't let our silly standings influence you. And then my smoking hot take of the week. I got 3 rushing TDs between Gibbs and Montgomery, combined 150 yards. But you know what? In the honor of Coop doing basically 2 tutties per tight end, I'll bump it up from 3 to 4 since you went a little overboard. So I'll do 4. Give me 2 touchdowns for both Gibbs and Montgomery.
So much for hitting one this season, huh?
Well, I mean, I originally said 3. Are you guys?
I'm totally fine with 3.
Okay, if you guys think that's hot enough,
4.
it's fine.
So they're gonna put up 28 points on the ground.
I mean, Aaron Jones just had 3 touchdowns last week.
Did he?
That was against
Yeah.
that was against the Cowboys, not against the
No.
49ers.
Wasn't that against the Niners? Am I tripping?
No.
He didn't
that
have
was
one
against the
against
Cowboys.
the. Trust me, I had an anytime touchdown for him. He didn't get it.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, you could take 3 here, but if you hit this, there's gonna be a little asterisk because we talked.
Okay,
about
well,
it.
same thing with your tight ends then, bro. Jeez.
What do you mean? I have mine at 10.
Yeah, then you said, but I'll take the 8.
No, I said I'll be happy if it gets there.
Oh,
not
you'll be
taking
happy.
I
Okay,
want
that's
10,
fine. You
baby.
can give me an asterisk. I mean, people love giving me asterisks over, you know,
No.
my fantasy winnings. You know, both in my high school league and KDawg's league. I get lots of asterisks, so it's fine.
It means you're special.
Special looking. All right, fellas, we're at the end of the episode here. I think we went a little longer than we expected.
Just
a
a
bit.
tad.
Just
That's
a bit.
okay. Special word of the week is who's got a fun word? How about in honor
Come on,
of
nobody just say anything.
Jim Harbaugh getting signed and being away from Michigan? It'll be Harbaugh. The word is Harbaugh this week.
Good word.
That's like the worst word.
No, the worst word is Astro. We're never gonna use that one. All right, fellas. We're gonna wrap up. Make sure to check out our socials: Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, X, TikTok. Got all the fun stuff there. Doing lots of fun podcast clips, other graphics and whatnot. Koop had a really sick. We didn't even talk about it this episode. Koop had a really dope CJ Stroud versus Lamar Yu-Gi-Oh graphic, which was fun. Which we got to get those on shirts. I think those would be fun for shirts.
Yeah, maybe.
We can add those on there. So yeah, check out that if you are interested. And yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. And if you have any Lamar Jackson stats, send them my way of why he should be MVP. That's it. Regular season only, people. Regular season only. You guys got anything to say? Anything to tell
So
people?
we've got a pay-per-view fight between Prophet Jay, now known as Jay, and myself coming up in the next few weeks to kind of settle this Lamar debate. It's gonna be a good time.
A fist fight's gonna really settle.
I'll be doing the commentary. Should be a good one.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be in the ring, roughing
I mean, if
KDawg.
you want me to, I guess I could do both.
Oh, that's C-Dubs. He has experience there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a good point.
True.
Yep. And then, so this will be dropping on Thursday. So then you can look forward to seeing C-Dubs locks on Friday. All right. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you next week. Smoking.
Smoking.
Okay.